Thursday 28th of June. Start with the Times. Fears growing over prospect of Trump peace deal with Putin. Yeah, you want fear, because if there's going to be peace, a temporary cessation of war, which is what peace means, then all those that want war are going to be pissed off, aren't they? May berates minister as infighting grips cabinet. As you can see from the picture, Germany are on the way home. China in driving seat to control HS2 trains. Chaos among British bidders leaves state-run rail firm favourite for contract. What the shit is going on? You're telling me we can't even run a railway? Well, obviously looking at the railways you can't. But that's not the point. Put someone in charge that knows what they're doing, not a bunch of twats. Guardian. Dejected Germany crash out. Army called in to tackle Manchester Moors blaze. May insists Brexit talks still on track ahead of key EU summit. Bullshit. They've never been on track, unless you mean on track for exactly what they planned all along, in which case, yeah, they're bang on track. The socialist firebrand who has shaken up the Democrats. The Sun. Oh, by the way, did your pub run out of beer? Mine didn't either. So all that bullshit about CO2 and that was bullshit, just like I said it was. The Scum. Biggest pubs running dry. Bullshit. £5 off when you spend 30 or more at Lidl. Yeah. Germany out of World Cup. This is the main headline. Schadenfreude. Noun from the German. Pleasure driven from another person's misfortune. Mirror. Come on, England, but don't mention the VAR. Where's this space paper? More blaze hell, firefight. Army called in as crews struggle to halt inferno. Express. Fury at Blair bid to wreck Brexit. You shouldn't be surprised at all. He's an evil satanic scumbag that should be in prison or hanging from a noose, whichever you prefer. I don't mind either way. XPM links anti-EU movement to rise of Nazism in the 1930s. No, the Zionist Ashkenazi state is Nazism. Ashkenazi. Toxic fears over Moore's Inferno. The Star, bound to have a naked woman in it. Flirty dozen, well, semi-naked. Love Isle's bombshell. How the frig does a TV programme get so much front page headlines? Army fight Hellblaze. Telegraph. Britain heading for worst Brexit deal. Cabinet is undermining negotiations, says former May aide, as plans emerge to keep free movement. Right. You remember, about 1970? I do. I went on holiday with my parents took me on holiday to Italy. And we just got on a plane, flew there, got off, went to the hotel, had a great time, came back. So all this free movement bullshit is just that. Absolute utter bullshit. A lesson is that word for the Germans. Questions over Jackson Arts show. Games lure teenagers into online gambling. Have the middle class lost their love for the giant of department stores? Melania plans school trip on UK visit. I. Seems he got the, what's the German for Schadenfreude? So all these papers apparently have gone out and looked up this word. Do you believe that? Bullshit. Yeah, me too. Army called in to tackle spread of huge moorland fire. The men making a killing from Brexit. Does the democratic fight back start here? What, we're going to have some democracy, are we? Celebrating Britain's health service. 4-year-old taking the art world by storm. Prisons revolution. Government will cut number of women and men behind bars, I learned. Yeah, I do not believe that. Why they just built 70 new prisons then? Costs and rising levels of violence, re-offending, self-harm and drug abuse persuade ministers to find alternatives to jail. Nah. They don't give a shit about anyone. Justice system will change if pilot scheme with female offenders succeeds. Ministry of Justice source tells I. So you know, someone that works for the Ministry of Justice. Yeah, I want to tell you, we want to look at rolling it out further. We're only telling you because, you know, bullshit. If it's in the papers, it's a load of bollocks. They're absolutely anything but independent, and that can be seen by Russell Brand being in it. Now let's move to abolish marriage. You stupid bitch. Is Labour the new party of business? No. This social care plan will end in tears. It already has. I measure out my life in World Cups. Yeah, well, you're a moron then. Don't mention the score as Germany crashes out to South Korea. EU chief warns, prepare for the worst with Trump. European leaders told rifts with the US threaten Western unity. Now it's strange, isn't it, how the whole of Europe's anti-Trump. Of course, they're all satanic, Rothschild-controlled scumbags. Maybe he's not one of them. I find it hard to believe, but I suppose it could be a possibility. Metro. Out. Wittgenstein. Yeah. Financial Times. Fans despair as Germany crash out. Now you know what it's like to be an England fan then, don't you? John Lewis profits collapse as retail woe moves up High Street. Half-year earnings close to zero. Focus on differentiation. Waitrose suffers squeeze. And not by accident. All these high street shops closing down is by design. Don't ever think it was an accident or it's just the way that the financial terms. No, it's by design.